He transported her to the urgent care in his own private van. Hold on. Pull up a seat. Let's go. He's in partnership. Let me get it. He's in partnership and has a piece of share or ownings with the resort. They found Ashlee when she was dead. When they went in that room to do their nightly rounds to spray for mosquitoes, and Joe had her wrapped up in there.
5 days after a diamond ring was slipped onto her finger in a viral beach proposal, 31-year-old influencer Ashlee Jenae was found dead in a luxury villa in Zanzibar. The world was told she died alone after a fight, but a chilling new confession from hotel staff suggests she was never separated from her fiancé at all. Ashlee's story is a terrifying reminder of how easily the truth can be buried in a foreign land. We are following this case as it unfolds in real time, and we need your help to keep her name trending until the truth is out. Hit that subscribe button and join our community. We don't stop until there is justice for Ashlee. We've already walked through the beginning of this nightmare, the part where the world watched a dream come to life. We saw Ashlee Robinson, known to her 145,000 followers as the radiant Ashlee Jenae, a 31-year-old entrepreneur from New Jersey who seemed to have the world at her feet. It was April 5th, 2026, her 31st birthday. In a viral video that now feels like a ghost story, her fiancé, Joseph Joe McCann, dropped to one knee on a white sand beach in Zanzibar. The water was turquoise, the ring was a massive diamond, and Ashlee's yes was the climax of what was supposed to be a forever trip. But for those of us following this case, we know that forever only lasted 5 days. On April 10th, 2026, the celebration turned into a forensic mystery that has left her family and the entire true crime community in a state of perturbed shock. As we've previously discussed, the official narrative from the Tanzanian authorities was delivered with a cold, suspicious speed. They claimed Ashlee took her own life. They painted a picture of a blowout fight between the couple, suggesting that the luxury resort staff had to intervene and move Joe to a separate villa to let things cool down. This was the story we were told to accept, that Ashlee was alone, in the dark, and in despair. But unlogic doesn't just fade away, it rots. Since we last spoke, the foundations of that story haven't just cracked, they've completely collapsed. New details are emerging from the shadows of that villa that suggest Ashlee wasn't alone at all, and that the princess treatment her family promised her was met with a terrifyingly different reality. As we dig back into the timeline, keep in mind that Ashlee was a woman of plans and joy. She was a daughter, an honor student, and a creator who lived her life in front of a lens. Now, the only lens left is the one we are using to look for the truth she can no longer tell. This is where the official story stops making sense and starts feeling like a calculated lie. For weeks, the narrative we were fed focused on a cooling off period. We were told that after a massive argument on the night of April 9th, 2026, hotel staff stepped in and separated the couple. The story was that Joe McCann was moved to a different villa, leaving Ashlee alone to spiral into the state of mind that led to her death on April 10th. It gave the authorities a convenient out. It explained why no one saw anything and why Joe supposedly wasn't there when the tragedy occurred. But that wall of silence just crumbled. Disturbing new testimony from resort staff has surfaced, and it directly contradicts the police report. According to these staffers, the people actually on the ground, walking the halls of that luxury resort, Ashlee and Joe were never separated. They weren't in different villas. They weren't cooling off in isolation. They were in the same room, behind the same door, for every single second of that final dark night. Think about the unlogic of that for a moment. If they were never apart, the theory of a lonely, isolated suicide vanishes. It means that whatever happened to Ashlee happened while Joe McCann was right there, It means there was a witness to her final breaths, her final struggle, or her final silence. The hotel's original claim of separation now looks less like a safety measure and more like a forensic shield designed to protect someone from the most basic question: how did you not see? And the handling of the emergency itself is even more perturbed. When Ashlee was finally found unresponsive, the standard procedure for a high-end resort would be an immediate call for a medical team, an ambulance with oxygen, a defibrillator, and paramedics trained to save a life. But that's not what happened. Instead of a siren-blaring ambulance, reports indicate that Ashlee was loaded into Joe's personal van to be driven to the hospital. This wasn't a medical transport, it was a private one. Why would anyone bypass a professional medical response in a life-or-death moment? Every second matters in a respiratory crisis, yet she was reportedly placed in the back of a van, away from the eyes of medical professionals, for the duration of that drive. Then comes the gap. The suffocating, silent gap. Joe McCann reportedly did not contact Ashlee's family for 11 hours after she was taken to that hospital. 11 hours where her father, Harry Robinson, was left in the dark, unaware that his daughter was fighting for her life, or was already gone. When you combine the no separation reveal with the private van transport and the half-day of silence, it paints a picture of a situation that was being managed rather than an emergency that was being treated. We are looking at a case where the people who were supposed to be the guardians, the hotel staff and the fiancé, are now at the center of the most haunting questions. If they were in that room together, as the staff now claims, then the suicide ruling isn't just a mistake, it's an impossibility. The room where it happened was supposed to be a sanctuary for a newly engaged couple. Instead, it became a black box of secrets that the authorities in Zanzibar seem all too eager to keep closed. As we move toward her return to America, remember this: the truth doesn't just disappear, it leaves marks. And as Ashlee's body finally crossed the ocean, it brought back physical evidence of a betrayal that no official report could ever explain away. The homecoming was supposed to be a moment of closure, but it only brought more unlogic. On Friday, April 24th, 2026, Ashlee Robinson's body finally arrived back on American soil in New Jersey. For her father, Harry Robinson, and her grieving family, this was the first time they could see the physical reality of what Zanzibar had done to their daughter. But when they opened the transport containers, they didn't just find a daughter. They found a crime scene that had been picked clean. The most perturbed detail was the missing gold. Just 19 days earlier, the world saw a viral video of a massive diamond being placed on Ashlee's finger. That engagement ring was the center of her new life. Yet when her remains were returned, the ring was gone. It wasn't on her hand. It wasn't tucked away in her luggage. It had vanished. In a standard death investigation, personal jewelry is documented and guarded. Here, the most expensive and symbolic item she owned simply evaporated into thin air. It wasn't just the jewelry. The digital heart of Ashlee's life, her cell phone, was also missing. For an influencer whose entire career and daily interactions were recorded on that device, the phone was a treasure chest of evidence. It held the final texts, the last photos, and the GPS data of those final hours in the villa. By keeping the phone, whoever has it has effectively silenced Ashlee's voice from beyond the grave. Her father noted that other personal belongings were also held back, leaving the family with a body but none of the context surrounding her final moments. If she had truly taken her own life, those items should have been right where she left them. The fact that she was returned looted suggests a much darker interaction. It points toward a robbery or a desperate attempt to destroy the digital trail left on her device. Because they couldn't trust the reports from across the ocean, the family refused to accept the suicide label. They took immediate action, commissioning an independent autopsy right here in the United States. They are looking for the marks that the Zanzibar authorities might have missed: signs of a struggle, pressure on the neck, or defensive wounds on the hands. They are searching for the truth that the missing ring and the missing phone were clearly meant to hide. While the family waits for those forensic results, the silence from the fiancé, Joe McCann, grows louder. He hasn't explained why her belongings didn't make it home. He hasn't explained the 11-hour delay in calling her parents. He has left a father to hunt for his daughter's jewelry while planning her funeral. Ashlee was a woman who valued herself. She was a princess who took care of her things. She wouldn't have just lost her engagement ring. The physical void left in her suitcases is the loudest evidence we have that what happened in Zanzibar was not an accident. It was a betrayal. As the sun rises on this first week of May 2026, the investigation into the death of Ashlee Robinson remains a storm of unanswered questions. But for her family in New Jersey, the time has come to face the most painful part of this journey. The body that was returned from Zanzibar, stripped of its jewelry and its digital history, is finally being prepared for a permanent rest. The community is coming together for a 2-day farewell. The viewing is scheduled to begin on Monday, May 4th, 2026. This is a moment for the thousands of people who followed Ashlee's journey online to realize that she was more than just a screen name or an influencer. She was a daughter, a friend, and a woman whose life was cut short just as it was supposed to begin a new chapter. The air in New Jersey is heavy with a mix of grief and a demand for the truth. On Tuesday, May 5th, 2026, Ashlee will be laid to rest. This date marks nearly a month since that viral proposal on the beach, a timeline that feels both too long and too short. As she is lowered into the ground, her family is still fighting a battle that no parent should have to fight. They are burying their child while simultaneously acting as detectives. They are grieving while waiting for the results of the independent autopsy they were forced to pay for because the initial reports were so hollow. The unlogic of this final week is staggering. Usually a funeral is a place of peace, but for the Robinson family, there is no peace without an explanation. How do you say a final goodbye when you know her phone, the device that holds her final thoughts, is still missing? How do you look at her hands in the casket and see the empty space where that diamond ring should have been? These are not just missing items. They are missing pieces of the puzzle that explain how a healthy, happy woman died in a luxury villa. While the world watches the flowers and the white casket, the focus remains on the people who were there. The fiancé, Joe McCann, remains a figure of intense scrutiny. As the burial date arrives, his lack of a clear public explanation regarding the no separation reveal from the hotel staff has only fueled the fire. The family's pursuit of justice doesn't end when the soil is moved. In many ways, the burial on May 5th is just the beginning of a new phase of the investigation. We have to remember that Ashlee's father, Harry Robinson, has been the last advocate for his daughter. He was the one who met the plane on April 24th. He was the one who noticed the looted state of her belongings. And he will be the one standing by the grave on Tuesday, promising his daughter that the world will not forget her name. The story of Ashlee Jenae is a warning about the fragility of safety and the importance of the truth. It reminds us that behind every beautiful travel photo, there is a real human life that deserves protection. As the bells toll for her funeral next week, the cry for justice will only get louder. Zanzibar may be thousands of miles away, but the eyes of the world are now fixed on the secrets left behind in that villa. Ashlee Robinson was a light that was extinguished in the dark. On May 5th, that light goes out for the last time, but the heat from this case is nowhere near cooling down. We will continue to follow every lead, every missing bone of evidence, and every new confession until the undetermined becomes resolved.